AITA for not wanting to give any money to my pregnant ex. My ex, 25 female, and I, 27 male, were together for around 6 months, although we were free to visit other people throughout that period. We split up because things weren't working out. Over a month later, she discovers she's pregnant and informs me that the kid is mine. But because I already knew she was seeing other males, it's conceivable the baby isn't. She was upset that I was having doubts, but I told her that if we had a paternity test and it confirmed that I was the father, then I'd be 100% involved. My ex didn't want that and would rather wait until after the kid was born to have a test, so I told her that was okay, it was her option. But I'm not going to become involved until I know the baby is mine. As I already know, if I start helping out now and it's subsequently found that I'm not the father, I might be set up for child support. I reside in the United States and have heard that this occurs often. I'd rather not even chance it, She's approximately 8 months old now, and I've begun collecting money, reading some literature, and creating shopping cart lists of baby items and furnishings to purchase in case I'm the father. So I'm not completely unprepared for this. So money is tough for her right now, since I know she only works part-time. She doesn't have enough money to buy a baby bassinet or clothing since she lives paycheck to paycheck. She began asking if she could borrow money for baby supplies, but I told her no. As far as I know, she doesn't have any other family members she's close to, and her pals share the same financial situation as her. But I've already indicated that once I know her kid is mine, I'll start giving her money and assisting her out. Otherwise, I'd prefer stay out of it. I've even encouraged her to call the 2 males who could be the fathers, but she claims one is even more broke and the other she hasn't been able to contact. So, for the time being, it seems that I am the only one who can provide financial assistance. We have a few common acquaintances, and I'm getting a lot of C from them since they know I have the money to help out. She may be my child's mother, so the least I could do is give. They claim they would if they had the money, but since I have, and this kid may be mine, I should already be assisting. They have a valid argument. The baby may be mine, and I'd be delighted to assist, once I'm certain he is. However, everyone else perceives me as being overly cold and insensitive. I don't believe I am, but I'm curious what others think. AITA. Update. It hasn't been that long, but I thought I'd let you know since many of you have asked. Following the advice of a few here, I approached my ex again about having the prenatal paternity test done immediately away since she was pressuring me to give her money. I told her that if her condition is so poor, let's have this test done right now so that if the kid is mine, I can start assisting right away. Because if we waited until after the delivery, she'd have to wait for my help until the results came in. Plus, if she still refuses a paternity test, she'll have to wait even longer for a court-ordered test. That means no support from me for a while, even after the baby arrives. So in the end, she consented to it. He isn't mine. I just found out about the findings the day before yesterday. My ex didn't have a lot to say. She merely texted back, "Okay, I won't bother you anymore." I apologized and offered her the best of luck. I also informed her about what you said regarding Facebook posting selling or giving away used baby items, as well as the WIC program, which might help her out since she has a low income. But she didn't react, and I haven't heard from her since, so I'm not sure whether she'll check into them. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit bummed. I'm sure I had my reservations about this baby being mine and kept my distance. But as I already said, I was psychologically and physically prepared in case he was, so that I could be there as a parent. I'm still grieving for that loss, but at least I know for certain now. I appreciate everyone who responded, and I appreciate the information and guidance. Story 2. AITA for saying that I'm not my stepmom's actual child. When I was 15, my stepbrother, Jake, 17 male, moved in with us. We are myself, my elder sister, 20 female, my father, 44 male, and my stepmother, 42 female. My stepmother is the only mother I've ever known. I call her mom, but I'm included the step for clarification. Anyway, Jake was okay at first, but after a few months, he got obnoxious. He was belligerent and generally had a pretty terrible attitude, which sucked even though it was largely aimed towards my parents. Furthermore, my parents never truly disciplined him, and surprise, surprise, his behavior deteriorated. He started stealing, drinking, and getting high, and he became a terror at school. My parents were always summoned to pick him up, since he was always getting into mischief. Because of Jake's behavior, my sister and I were last-minute considerations, and my parents seldom spoke to or about us. Jake this and Jake that was always the case. Jake, despite his poor behavior, isn't all that horrible. We don't chat much, but he's polite. He only clashes with my parents and has sometimes assisted me. My issue isn't so much with him as it is with the way he behaves out and how my parents prioritize/baby him. Now for the incident, Jake lost a hockey game and returned home enraged. My stepmother advised him to calm down, and he ordered her to F off. He went out later and returned home, but this time he was high. My stepmother just let him sleep and kissed him goodbye. This really irritated me. I informed her that when I was in high school and came home somewhat inebriated, she grounded me for 2 weeks. She said it wasn't the right moment, but I told her she had some severe double standards. I understand that he is her biological son, and I am not her biological kid, but this was also unjust. She informed me that the real kid remark was inappropriate, and that she had raised me for the most of my life and deserved better. My father, who had been hearing the whole time, ordered me not to be impolite, but I ignored him and walked to my room. This occurred last night, and she's behaving as if everything is okay, but my father is treating me silently. When I inquired if he was serious, he stated that I wasn't supposed to say such things and that I should apologize since my stepmother was so unhappy. I declined and am convinced that I am not the whole, but I do feel a bit guilty for bringing up our family tie. Whatever you want to say about her, she did raise me after all. So Reddit, am I the jerk? Update. About 2 weeks ago, I inquired on this forum as to whether or not I was out of line. You all said that I wasn't telling the truth and that my parents were misinformed. In light of this, I met with my parents once again and explained why I said what I said and why I would not be apologizing. Fortunately, they expressed regret and took full responsibility for all that had happened. Our talk was intense and personal, and although I will never forget the previous few years, I will never despise the people involved in it. Let's discuss about my stepbrother's behavior for a moment. There were a lot of responses, many of which said that although I had nothing against him, his behavior was wrong. I am well aware of this, but when I said that his attitude was focused at my parents and authority figures in general, I was not misinformed in my assessment. During a meal out with my stepmother, sister, and myself the other night, she explained to us why she has not punished him for his horrible behavior as she has done to us. Guilt. When she became pregnant with him, she made some awful choices. She determined that it would be safer for her child to stay with his father, who was older and more stable, as a result of the alternatives available to her. Unfortunately, he did not turn out to be the best choice. It is also my obligation to reveal that my stepbrother was the result of an affair or a one-night experience. My mother had no idea the man was married. I believe my stepbrother is aiming to see how far he can push himself until she, my father, or anybody else in a similar circumstance loses their cool. I believe he is acting out because he continues to be unsettled by and distrustful of my parents, adults, and he is merely waiting since he has been taught that everyone is like his father and stepmother by his subconscious mind. He used to attend to therapy but had stopped for a time, and my parents are reportedly looking for a therapist that would be a good fit for him at the moment. They are, however, actively on the lookout for them. I also feel that my stepbrother overheard my argument with my parents since he had been ignoring me for some time. If it was out of embarrassment or rage or a mixture of the three, I spoke with him yesterday and reminded him that he didn't need to be terrified all of the time. To give him the courage to place his trust in my parents. He didn't say much, but he doesn't seem to be leaving the room while I'm in the room, which is a good indication. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to express my gratitude for all of your assistance at a time when I felt completely alone. This may sound cliché, but it is very true. Thank you really much.